Remember the good old days? When everything seemed simpler and the future was full of endless possibilities? When hodl was a rallying cry, not a desperate plea for therapy? Back then, we believed we were on the brink of a financial revolution. We lived in a world of digital wallets, blockchain promises, and the unshakable belief that we understood what a non-fungible token actually was. We were convinced that technology would solve all our problems. We were going to buy pizza with Bitcoin, disrupt the banks, and usher in a new era of financial freedom. The dream was to decentralize everything and put power back into the hands of the people. Turns out the universe had other plans, specifically plans involving a whole lot of paper. The reality of managing finances didn't change as much as we thought it would. Imagine a world where your grandma's insistence on paying for everything in cash was suddenly cool. Cash made a surprising comeback, where the survival skill wasn't coding but counting change. The basics of money management became essential once again. Where that dusty old wallet your dad gave you for your 16th birthday became the hottest accessory on the market, vintage became the new trend. Welcome to the future that wasn't. A future where the past and present collided in unexpected ways. It all started with a whimper, not a bang. Maybe a server somewhere overheated. Maybe a bunch of hamsters powering the blockchain finally earned their retirement. Whatever the reason, one day the internet collectively blinked, and our digital fortunes went the way of the dodo. Panic ensued, memes were shared, economists spontaneously combusted, and just like that, we were thrust back into the archaic world of paper money. Remember those in case of zombie apocalypse, break glass boxes? Yeah, those were filled with cash. Turns out the zombies were metaphorical, but the cash was very, very real. Suddenly, everyone from tech bros to your yoga instructor was scrambling to remember how to use an ATM. Remember trying to explain Bitcoin to your grandpa? Now imagine explaining a credit card to a teenager who's never seen one. The transition back to paper money wasn't exactly smooth. ATMs became social hubs, lines stretching longer than a blockchain transaction history. Venmo requests were met with blank stares. And don't even get me started on the whole making change thing. The black market thrived, not with illicit substances, but with hand sanitizer and working calculators. Bartering made a roaring comeback with questionable results. I'll trade you this vintage floppy disk for a loaf of bread. No, I don't know what's on it, but it's vintage. Section 4. Confessions of a Recovering Crypto Bro. My name is Chad, and I used to be a crypto bro. Yes, I was one of those guys who couldn't stop talking about blockchain and decentralization. I lived, breathed, and dreamt in Bitcoin. My days were filled with endless charts, and my nights were spent in crypto forums. I had a Lambo on order, estimated delivery, never. It was my dream car, a symbol of my anticipated success. I even tried to convince my dog to accept Dogecoin as payment for walks. Spoiler alert, he didn't. He just gave me that look. You know, the one that says really human. Then the great crash happened. At first I panicked. My screen was a sea of red and my heart sank. My entire net worth was tied up in a digital currency that was about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. I felt like I was drowning. But then something strange happened. I started using cash. Real, tangible money that I could hold in my hands. I touched it, I smelled it, don't judge. I even ironed a few bills to get that crisp, satisfying feel. It was oddly therapeutic, and you know what? It wasn't that bad. I found joy in the simplicity of cash transaction. Sure, I missed the thrill of watching my portfolio fluctuate wildly every 5 seconds. The adrenaline rush was addictive. But I also didn't have to explain to my therapist what a rug pull was anymore. Life became a bit more predictable and, honestly, a lot less stressful. Section 5. In fiat we trust, not so fast. So here we are, back to the future. Or maybe just stuck in a weird alternate timeline where the 80s called and wanted their wallets back. It's like we've taken a nostalgic trip down memory lane, only to find ourselves knee-deep in paper money and old-school cash registers. We've traded our digital dreams for the tangible reality of paper money. The crisp feel of a fresh bill, the weight of coins in your pocket, it's all so tactile and real. And you know what? It's kind of refreshing. There's a certain charm to handling cash, a simplicity that digital transactions just can't replicate. we're interacting face to face again. Remember that? The human connection, the personal touch, it's all coming back. We're appreciating the simple things like the satisfying crinkle of a $20 bill. It's a small pleasure, but one that brings a surprising amount of joy. We're even, dare I say it, learning to budget. The act of physically organizing money into envelopes makes us more mindful of our spending. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. Budgeting is still a challenge, and cash doesn't magically make it easier. But still, there's something to be said for a world where you can't accidentally buy a pizza with a year's worth of rent money just by mistyping a decimal point. It's a world where mistakes are a bit harder to make, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. Section 6, the future of money, a comedic cliffhanger. So where do we go from here? Will paper money reign supreme forever? Will we invent a new form of currency based on the barter system and the collective value of beanie babies? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, no matter what the future holds, it's going to be hilarious.